Mr. J. Parikh, CEO, Nijay International Incorporation, United States of America. Mr. J. Parikh is based in Los Angeles, United States of America. He is a large importer and distributor of food products from India. He exclusively represents many Indian food brands in USA. He is an MBA graduate. Mr. J. Parikh is here to address on the topic how to do businesses with food importers in USA 10 steps. We are privileged to welcome Mr. J. Parikh to the summit at Vibrant Tamilnadu.
Good afternoon. Namaste, Namaskaram, Vanakkam. Inga kudi irukkum, anaivarkum, ennudiya Vanakkam. It is indeed a great privilege for me today to be here to present before you a presentation on doing business with USA. And I thank the team of Vibrant Tamilnadu headed by Mr. Jagat Shah, Mr. K.T. Rajan and the entire team to organize such a great expo, a global expo, where we are here today and an august crowd like you today to listen to various speeches by learned speakers before me as well. I will proceed to the presentation immediately, that how to do business with USA. The first thing which is important is intent to export, and which means you need to upgrade your production facility. The manufacturing process should be efficient and cost effective. Hygiene and good sanitation, which are very important not only for exports but obviously for the local produce as well, domestic market as well. Wholesome ingredients, which is also a key part of any product to be successful and consumed by the people. Export worthy packaging, which is kind of, we are used to be packaging for local markets, which kind of have issues when we export, because export is a long drawn process, and particularly to US, it is almost ranging from 25 days to 45 days shipment time. So you need to have the packaging which can really preserve your foods and give the shelf life which you have quoted. Shelf life of the product, again, is very important that any product with shelf life which is exported to USA should have a longer shelf life. You have to do the shelf life testing. You have to do the related packaging to achieve that. Product pricing, definitely developing a competitive edge, because we'll go to the next slide that US is one of the biggest importers from the world, and obviously price is a key factor then. This slide shows you what US imports, and the first circle which we see, you can see that 32% of the imports in USA are human foods, which means 1/3 of the total imports in the US are human foods. So we have a lot of potential. This makes you kind of go for it now, that because US is offering such a great potential to import. The second graph which shows is showing the kind of growth in the importation by USA in last 10 years, like from 2007 to 2017. Like it is a threefold growth. You can see it is 40 lakhs items, single items are being imported in every fiscal year. So I mean, again, it shows the great potential the US market has. Now the next step is definitely understanding the US food laws. One of my previous speakers has already narrated some details about the US FDA and the kind of compliances which are required. So here there are 3 regulatory bodies one has to really take care of. The first one is US Customs. So export only allowable products by US Customs and Border Protection. All these are available on the website, and you will know what is exportable and what cannot. The second one definitely is the United States Food and Drug Administration, commonly known as US FDA. And there are US FDA regulates all the food products, both from abroad and produced domestically. And all manufacturing facilities who from here want to export have to have your FDA registration, which is a very simple process. You can go online and register your food facility, and it might go for an FDA inspection as well. And this registration exists for 2 years, so you have to renew every 2 years. Then, obviously, we need some accreditation like HACCP, which is a hazard analysis and critical control points. And many booths I visited, and they have already attained that. So I'm very proud and happy that Tamil Nadu is progressing in that direction. Compliance with Food Safety Modernization Act, one of my previous speakers mentioned about this FISMA, which is now into effect in the USA, which actually, if we follow all the rules and regulations given by FISMA, then it is ensuring an easy clearance into the market. Food labeling, I've highlighted that because that is important. The Indian food labeling does not work in US. You need to really have the food labels based on what US FDA is recommending. Again, this thing can be seen or studied from the website www.fda.gov. Allergens, one of the speakers also mentioned about the 8 allergens which are kind of very important to be declared on every single packing, like peanuts, tree nuts, eggs, anything like that. Some people are allergic to that, and we need to declare. People are allergic to lactose, so any dairy, we need to declare that. Even the manufacturing facility we are producing, and we are not selling a dairy product, but there is a dairy production going on in the same facility, we need to mention that on every single pack. The third regulatory body is the United States Department of Agriculture. USDA has an agency called APHIS, which is Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service. This is there to regulate the imports into USA. APHIS makes sure that all the imported and agricultural products shipped to USA from abroad meet the agency's requirements to exclude the pests and diseases. One of our previous speakers already mentioned about that. All dairy products containing eggs, etc. are regulated. Importer needs to have a valid USDA permit. The importer needs to have a permit, and the exporter needs a certification from the related ministry, like a veterinary and animal husbandry certificate from an appropriate ministry. And this has to be submitted with every single shipment. You cannot avoid that, otherwise your products can be held and even be rejected from the entry in the US. For the factories here, what you need to do is inspections. It is advisable for the manufacturing facility to go periodic inspections by an US-approved inspection agency to avoid any kinds of holds and rejections of the exported products. Such inspection, in fact, will also help you upgrading your technology which you are using, and it will also help any contamination issues which you may be facing even in your domestic products. Quality control. The SOP, Standard Operating Procedure, must be well defined, and QC, quality control systems, should be in place. Process control is equally important to ensure manufacturing of wholesome foods with same and approved recipes. If you are selling a sambar powder, obviously you need to give the same sambar powder after 2 years as well. The customers using or consumers using those sambar powder should exactly taste the same even after 2 years. So what is meant, you have to master and computerize these recipes. Even if you change your ingredients, you have to make sure this taste profile, the recipes do not change. Control on final products packaging to avoid spillage and leakage is very essential. We deal with Indian companies, and time and again there are leakages, there are kind of holes in the products packagings, and that is leading to infestation in the product, which should be avoided. Certifications and permits. Required certifications for specific product lines are must to accompany every export shipment. For example, you are exporting red chili powder, then ETO sterilization would ensure that your product is safely being cleared by the customs. Gamma radiation certification for fruits and mangoes. The Indian, we get the Alfonso, we get the Kesar, we get the Benganpalli, and many mangoes now from India because they are gamma radiated and under the USDA inspection, and it is cleared over there. Exporter must ensure that the US importer has required import permits to ensure smooth passage of the cargo. So if you're working with a partner, you must make sure that they have the permit, otherwise whatever you are shipped out could come back at a very heavy cost. For canned products, FCE, which is Food Canning Establishment Registration, and obtaining the process filing SID, which is called Submission Identifier Number, for all low acid and acidified canned foods is a must. One of our gold sponsors is already supplying gulab jamun, which is in cans, and he has all these permits registration in place. So if you are thinking of anything in canned products, please, you have to go for this FC registration and obtain an SID number for each SKU which you are going to sell. You need to be aware about import alerts or automatic detention and prohibited items. Manufacturers should have complete knowledge of food products from India which are on import alert. That is basmati rice. One of our already presenters told us about the khapra beetle problem in basmati rice. Or we have tamarind, we have papadum furfur, which are on automatic detention. As soon as that consignment comes into US, it goes for exam and it is detained. And along with that, whatever you have shipped will get detained. And the demurrage charges in USA, the detention charges of USA per day are going to be anywhere from $150 to $350 a day. So you can imagine the kind of cost you can incur if you are not following the practice. US FDA has 61 food product lines which are on import alert, and that is detention without physical examination from India. This can be seen on the FDA website. Manufacturer must not try to export any of the restricted products and prohibited food products ingredients in USA. For example, the restricted food colors. Please do not attempt to do that because you can make some good money out of it, because that will really jeopardize you as an exporter. For USA, blacklisted, and the importer also will be in trouble. Export regulations and tax laws of India. It is very important for the manufacturers to abide by the export regulations in India. All banned for export goods should be avoided. Manufacturers should have a proper knowledge of Indian tax laws related to exports to avail the permissible benefits in order to be more competitive and in the export market. Because again, as I was mentioning before, you need to have good pricing or competitive edge against the exporters from different other parts of the world or even other exporters from India. Banking and finance. This is an important aspect to learn and know. Proper knowledge of various export documentation and negotiation documents is required, such as exports against DA, which is document against acceptance, DP at site, documents against payment at site, direct documents to the importers, or documents through bank against irrevocable letter of credits, bank guarantees, etc. Obtaining ECGC cover on importers for discounting your documents is quite done, very normally done by these suppliers because you need cash. So Export Credit Guarantee Corporation actually gives you a cover on importers based on their Dun & Bradstreet credibility reports. Complete knowledge of currency exchange rates from time to time to remain profitable and competitive at the same time. This is a very important aspect in identifying your true distribution partner in the US. This is one of the most important vital elements of success to exports in USA. The manufacturer must decide and ensure a proper distribution model in USA. It could be, there are two different models which are in place. One is the master distributor controlling the regional distributors. This is by far the most successful model. And the second is appointing multiple distributors in different parts of the country. Importer and distributors' knowledge and experience in US market, which is very vital, because most of the time there are people obviously wanting to go for US food business in the US, and they go to the food shows and they talk a lot about the products and everything, but they do not have the expertise and knowledge, and when you give your brand to them, sometimes you suffer. Market reach. Very important to know that your distributor has a market reach which you are looking for your products. Sales and marketing capacities. They have to be able to sell, not only sell, but do your marketing activities which your companies might develop and create a demand for your product and satisfy that demand. Competitive products portfolio. I mean, there are many companies who keep grabbing brands and they have 4 brands having similar products. So obviously they do not have any focus for your brand which you are trying to sell. Financial capability, obviously, you have to see that the person is able to pay your bills or invoices. And brand building abilities, which is if you are giving your own brand, you must make sure that you have a partner who is understanding that brand development strategy and helping you to build the brand in that country, and particularly in the US. The historical population of the Asians and Indians in last 100 years, if you see, in 1910, there were only 2,545 Indians in USA. And in 2010, there were 2.84 million people, 28 lakhs 43,000. And the 2020 census is going to cross 4 lakhs people, so which clearly indicates that Indian food demand is going to increase steadily in this country, in USA. Sales and marketing strategy. Manufacturers should have and must have a very well-defined sales and marketing strategies, which are product pricing, promotional strategy, which are in-store display racks, POS material, samples, below-the-line activities such as demos, wet sampling, freebies, discount offers, etc. And advertising strategy, which is ATL, which is the media selection based on available budgets and its effectiveness, trade show exhibition participation, and sponsorship of related programs. Shipping, appointing the CFA, clearing and forwarding agent, choosing the right shipping line in conjunction with the importer based on the prices and the transit time, which is again very important for each US port. Container stuffing is again an art. If you're selling glass bottles, you cannot just stuff it in the front of the container, the end of the container, which is going to be opened first. The glass bottles have to go at the back, because if they start falling off when the container is being unloaded, there'll not only be loss of the product, but somebody could be hurt. And in US, it is very, very clear that the laws are very strict, that if anybody is injured while even unloading the container, the importer is in a big trouble. Yeah, choosing the right shipping line, container stuffing. The shipping conditions such as fumigated containers, very important with certifications wherever required. Checking the containers for any damages or holes before stuffing. If you do not check that, and if your container is going through places where there are heavy rains and your water has sipped in your container, it can spoil your merchandise. So you have to inspect the container thoroughly. These are some of the very vital, small, important points one has to look into when you are going for exports. These are some of the key pointers. I'm not going to speak because of the time constraint. So this is going to be uploaded, so you can definitely do the key pointers. The questions, we can take one-on-one because we don't have time today. So I really thank you for listening to us. One more thing which I would like to narrate here, we have a subsidiary company, an associate company, which is doing compliances for US. And if you need any help for any kind of compliance, food labeling, say, or any kind of FCE registration or anything, then our company, Total Compliance is 2018 at gmail.com is the email where you can reach us, and we'll be able to put it to our associate company who will take over and help you out developing every single thing. Ungal Anaivaryum Patadil Migga Magirchi Nandri Nandri Nandri.